Hi, and welcome to the Why Not Today podcast. And I'm here today with my guest, Lisa Woodruff, which I haven't met in person, but just virtually. And I feel like I already know her because our brains think so much alike. But she is the founder of Organize 365. Or is it 365 Organize?
Organized 365.
Okay. All right. So I'm excited to have you here, Lisa. And I've been following all the stuff you've been doing. So let's start with a Why Not Today moment. What's a moment in time where I always say something happened in your life, you remember where you were, what you're doing, and you made a decision on that idea and your life completely changed.
I could think of so many things like that. And I had a couple written down, but the one that came to mind as you were saying it just now is my husband and I were not able to get pregnant on our own. So we were not able to get pregnant. And a phone call came late at night, and they said, "We have this baby boy here. We're not sure that you're going to be able to keep him, but he has nowhere to go tonight. And would you take him home?" And so I call this is, I'm on the landline and I called my husband on the cell phone. This is 2000, early 2000. And so
Oh,
I had one of those brick cell phones. So I'm talking to him and I'm on landline and he says, "It's a risk worth taking. It's a risk, but it's a risk worth taking." And so he came home and we got in the car and we went down and we got our baby and we took him straight to our Bible study, which we were late for. And we were like, "Sorry, we were late." And we walk in with this 5-day-old baby and they're like, "What
oh
is
wow.
this?" And we just went home with this baby, like nothing at home. And obviously he's still our son today, but that's probably a why not moment. Like, yes, it's a risk, but it's a risk worth taking. And it's
And
how I
aren't
became a
all
mom.
risks, risks? And I've talked to so
Yeah.
many people on this podcast that they had that idea, that risk,
Yeah.
and they jumped. And that's
Hmm.
really the message between why not today. You guys
Yeah.
just got to ask. And with your business, I can
Hmm.
guarantee, and I know just from listening to your story, where you started and where you are nowhere near the same
Hmm.
place.
No, where I'm going, like people are like, "Where are you going?" I have no idea because I never thought I'd be here. I
Exactly.
don't
It's
know
one
where I'm
step at
going.
a time. And yeah, and
Yeah.
it's learning, and yeah, it's
Hmm.
always
Hmm.
evolving, and you never arrive, thank goodness.
Yes.
So Lisa, what is your definition of courage?
So I think courage is, there are a lot of definitions out there, but for me, I feel like I'm most courageous or maybe the most nervous when I make a decision on myself, like when I take a chance on myself, especially if I'm taking time, talent, or resources from the family to do something for myself. So it was really courageous to start my PhD at the age of 50. I didn't need to. I'm not going to get a promotion or more money because of this. It definitely was going to take time and money away from the family, but I really, really wanted to do it. And so I think it took a lot of courage to just, say to my family, "Hey, I'm doing this now." And they're like, "Okay."
Love it. And I have to admit, listening to you talk about getting your PhD, part of me, because I am a lifelong learner, is like,
Yeah.
ooh, maybe. I'm like, no,
Yes.
no, no.
Yes.
I always
I
tease.
mean, I can't wait for it to be done. But also, I mean, I'm gonna have a PhD.
That's pretty
That's
amazing.
amazing.
I was going to say an MBA was pretty impressive. I got that piece of paper in the closet, but yeah. So let's talk a little bit about your business, and then we're going to
Okay.
really, I want to dive into some things that help the listeners with, the track we're running on here with Why Not Today. And it's all about taking action.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so why don't you explain what your business is? And this is going to be coming out right before your new book comes out. So let's talk
Okay.
about a little bit of that. So give us your story, Lisa.
Thank you. So I, like I said, wanted to be a mom. So I went to college, got a teaching degree, taught for a few years. We adopted our kids. I was a stay-at-home mom for a decade, which I loved. Did a couple of different direct sales companies. And then when I was turning 40, I really was at that point where we needed to make more money, like more significant money. And also, I needed something to sink my teeth into. I mean, I just got a PhD because I just wanted to. So obviously, I'm not the kind of person that sits around and watches TV and things like that. Like, I need to be stimulated.
Yes,
So
you
I
and me both.
started the company. Organized 365, and I've been in 23 direct sales companies. So I've been in
You've
a
been
lot of
in
direct sales
23.
companies. Yes.
I didn't even know there were that many.
I know, and I've made money in almost all of them. So like I know how to make money in direct sales companies too. And I
Wow.
just realized there were just some things that I was with Creative Memories and went bankrupt twice. And I was like, I have to stop building my castle on other people's land, like I'll just start my own business. So I did start my own business the year I turned 40. I
Which I
did
love. It's
in-home.
those zero birthdays that. Don't they
Oh,
trigger?
they're awesome, aren't they? So I did in-home organizing for 3 years, and in that period of time, I realized organization was a learnable skill, which I should have known. But anyway, I took my teaching skills and coupled that with the in-home organizing skills and started the podcast 11 years ago. And then another 3 years later, I realized, okay, well, it's great if you get your house organized as a stay-at-home mom with kids, but there are all these other households. I'd been in Cincinnati that didn't have kids or didn't have spouses, and they had organizational needs that were beyond just organizing the physical spaces. Like we had become paper organizing experts, and I'd helped a lot of people settle estates or, do lawsuits and things like that. All these things are very paper heavy. So then I realized that we are missing a lot of systems inside of our households. Like I know that you represent Mary Kay. Mary Kay is such an amazing direct sales company. Creative Memories was as well. Pampered Chef is another good one because these companies give you systems. Most of the direct sales companies don't give you good systems, but Mary Kay gives you such a solid systems, the meetings, the foundation, the training. And so you could be successful in Creative Memories or in Mary Kay because you don't have to create the
Which,
roadmap for
you know,
yourself.
you
It's
told me that.
created.
You told me that, and I thought, oh, my brain just thinks in systems. But once you told me that, I'm like, oh, I wonder how much of that came from my Mary Kay. And yes, I have
It's
set up so many systems, and a good friend of mine who's also a director, we have said for years, if you do something twice, create a system.
Yeah, that is the Mary Kay training, and it is the best of all the direct sales systems. Mary Kay is absolutely the best. And then there are a couple that are below that. And then under that, they have nothing. And that's how we
Wow.
are at households. Like most households don't have any systems. So one of the things I loved about direct sales and some of these really good direct sales companies is because you are running those businesses from home, those systems bled over into your household. So you established good systems, but most people didn't. They literally just left their childhood home, went into a condo of some sort, realized they needed to do a project, went to Home Depot, bought whatever they needed for the project, and went on with their day. There's no like bill paying system, maintenance system. There's nothing because they don't think in systems. We do
Right.
at school, we do at work, we don't at home. So that was the next leap. I realized that we don't need more organizing bins, but we do need some operational systems. So I created the operational systems. The Sunday basket is one of those. And then after I'd been in business for a decade, I realized that if I really wanted to move forward, I needed to get a PhD because I want to do academic level testing of the Sunday basket as an intervention for executive function.
Wow. Lots of good
A
stuff.
Tuesday.
Yeah. All those things. And yeah, maybe I'll
Whatever.
get a PhD one of these days. But I love how much you said, learning and direct selling and pot systems. And our brain, we
Mhm.
need systems. And
We do.
it's not something that happens overnight. And whether or not you think it's officially a system, you got a system, whether it's
You do.
functioning well or not.
Yeah. Yep.
um,
Yep. For sure.
yeah, and so the whole decluttering, organizing, we're recording this in spring of 2026, and everybody's about spring cleaning. That podcast episode I just did about a month ago was on spring cleaning, not just your house, but your
Mhm.
systems, your
Yep.
just looking at things from different ways, looking at,
Hmm.
your bills. Are you paying too much for XM radio or all the things? And so
Right.
looking at all those together. So you've done so many things, and I'm quite impressed with all that you've accomplished in your business.
I'm just old.
You're
I'm
not
just
old.
old.
I'm older than you. Which I was thinking,
When you're old, you've done a lot of things.
I started my Mary Kay business when I turned 30. I
Nice.
finished grad school. That was my goal, to finish grad school, and I turned 30 and I started Mary Kay. And I didn't even think about it till the other day that I actually started the Why Not Today business, and it wasn't intentional, but the year I turned 60.
Yeah.
So
Good
it's
for
those
you.
zero birthdays. So we've been talking about with Why Not Today about action.
Hmm.
And action then builds momentum. And so
Hmm.
I'm sure you work with lots of people that are overwhelmed. They
Hmm.
have the list, the planners, the ideas. If you're a office product junkie like me, then you've got all the pens, all the systems, the planners. But what actually helps people get stuff done?
So, as you get older, as women especially, we become the go-to Google for our whole family. So instead of finding things in the house, they'll ask us. My husband asked me for something the other day. I said, "Did you look yet?" And he's like, "Well, you know." I was like, "This is the drawer I want you to look in." There are only two things in the drawer. I opened the drawer. I was like, "Is one of these things the thing that you want?" He goes, "Yeah." He takes the thing out. So we inefficiency We run our households with efficiency. We organize our households. We set up the systems. Every single household runs on its own unique system because you can't buy one at, the office supply store. So you have to cobble together your own system, whatever it's going to be. And then your family relies on you to serve that system, maintain that system, and give them the answers. I would say when you create a system that anybody can access, that's when when you are no longer the bottleneck in your family. So the problem comes when you are ready to get organized or you're overwhelmed and you want to tackle something new, but you don't have any cognitive bandwidth and you don't have any time because you are the bottleneck in your family. And the only way to solve this problem, and it stinks, but it's the only way to solve this problem, is you have to stop everything. And if you have to carve out some time and you have to do a big long brain dump and get everything out of your head and onto physical, I like to do index cards, and then really look at it and say, okay, what truly is essential right now? Like what is essential? What is secondary? What is not going to be in this season? And now that I'm older, I realize, I mean, it could be 5 years from now. I'll still do it. Like it's okay. I don't have to do it now. So you have to
Right.
get it out on paper and you have to plan. So your executive function, which runs your life, it's your brain that runs your life. You can either be doing or you can be planning, but you can't do them together. And you have to be in a higher level of thinking in order to do planning. Planning is a higher level executive function. You have to stop everything you're doing in order to plan. Now, once you make a plan, let's just think about the grocery store. You're out of food, you have to go to the grocery store. Could you just grab the keys, go get food, and come back? Yes. Of course, you're going to forget something. You're not going to actually have meals. If you would stop and sit down and look at the calendar, oh, wow, we only need 2 meals, not 5 meals. Okay, these are the things that we already have on hand. This is what I'm going to buy. And then you make your list in the order of the grocery store. When you get to the grocery store, you'll get in and out of that grocery store in 10, 20 minutes. Whereas if you just grab the keys, you might have been there 45 minutes. You're going to come home. You're still not going to have what you need.
I was gonna
So,
say, are you in my head?
yes, yes,
Like,
I'm in everyone's head.
like
That's why the podcast
and I don't,
works.
I'm single. I don't have a family that's coming to me to look for things. Although the world comes to ask me for like, how do I find this
Yeah,
or
no
what is
one in
this?
your team. Yeah, all those
My
things.
my friend owns a restaurant and I often get calls. Are there tables available? Are they out of it? I'm like, I don't know. I don't like why you ask
Yes.
me. But going to the grocery
So,
store, this is where I've gotten in trouble. Is I'm like, oh, I'll look at a cookbook, I'll look at recipes, and I'm like, I'm gonna make all this stuff. And what I used to do, I'm recovering from this, is I used to just go to the store and plan all these meals, but I wouldn't look at my calendar. And then I get home, I'm like, I'm
yes.
out this night, I'm out that night, I have a lunch
Yep.
plan from this person. So I have all this food, and now I'm not touching it.
Right. Right. And so it's counterintuitive to stop everything and do a brain dump and plan. And yes, you won't get done as much as you would as if you just kept busy, but you'll get the right things done. And here's the thing, if you just stick with this for a period of time, maybe a couple of weeks, you will turn your ship around and you'll start to do more planning and you'll start to make more forward progress. But there is a rough spot where you actually make less progress for a short amount of time in order to move from planning first and then action versus just hopefully if I just keep moving, everything will get done. It won't. It won't.
No. Well, there's a mentor I have, Mary Kay, that she always said, I think it's an hour of planning helps replace a day of work. I don't know if that's the
Yes.
actual amount, but
One
it
hour
does make a
replaces
difference.
3 to 4. Yeah. It's
Yeah. And
a,
if you
a
take the
one
time
to
to
four
plan
return.
and take the time to set the systems up instead
Yeah.
of just the band-aid, which we're all so good at, like, okay, it doesn't work, let me just do this. And so one of the
Yeah.
things I've started doing with taking action for people is have an offer. It's called the Why Not Today VIP action session, where
Oh,
people can hire me
yes.
for 2 hours to basically get shit done, whether it's
Nice.
technology or, because I think too, and
Yeah.
you probably learned this with the organizing, is um, if somebody's next to you to help you make a decision, to help you troubleshoot a decision, then you're not going to give up. You're not going to answer the phone when it rings if you've got somebody next to you.
Because you're paying for this time and it's
Exactly.
blocked on your calendar.
Yeah. So, and I think there is,
Mm-hmm.
and I think this is a lot what you do, there's a difference between being organized and actually moving forward. So there's
Yeah.
organize, and I think what I hear you saying, there's organization and then there's systems.
Yes.
And that is probably the gold, is the system.
Yeah, there is both. So like when you say organizing, I'm thinking organizing your environment. So my daughter and her children live with us, a 4-year-old and a newborn. And I'm primarily
God bless you.
responsible. Oh, I love it so much. It's so
I
great.
know.
So I am responsible to get the 4-year-old to preschool because I want him to go to preschool. And if I'm not there, if I were his mom, I'd be like, we're just going to stay home today. I'm tired. So I'm like, I'll take him to school just so I know he gets to school. So in our family room, we have a little bookshelf that has toys on it. There's a bunch of different cubes, kind of like the one you have behind you. And so
Mhm.
I realized when the newborn came along, I was like, well, I don't want to keep going in the basement and waking everybody up and getting the clothes, and we buy the kids too many clothes anyway. So I put a couple cubes on the bottom of that bookshelf, and one is underwear and socks, and one is pants, and one is shirts. So then on Sunday, when my daughter and I are planning out our week, I go over and I look at those cubes. I'm like, hey, I need a couple more pairs of pants, or we're moving to short sleeves instead of long sleeves. I need to have enough clothes here for when I'm dressing him in the family room for school. So that's another example of like modifying your environment for where you are. Like I've never stored socks anywhere but in the family room because you don't need socks in your bedroom when you're little.
Well,
You
when
always
you
need them in the
walk,
family room.
when you walk in my house, and I'm just in a condo, when you walk in, there's a basket with all my shoes.
Yeah,
And I
right.
used to live in a townhouse, and my shoes are up in my bedroom. And so I'd come
Yeah.
home, I'd take my shoes off, I'd carry them upstairs and put them in the bedroom, and then I'd put them in my hand, carry them down. I'm like, that is just not working.
No, no.
Having
Yes.
things
So put
where
it
you
where it
use them.
is.
Yeah,
So to me, that's organization, organizing your environment for the phase of life you're in and changing that seasonally, and especially at those big zero birthdays, really changing your household. Then there is management and systems, like the management and the invisible work, like managing your schedule, managing your time, managing your bill pay, your CFO and your CEO responsibilities of your household. Those I do in the Sunday basket through systems. So yes, it's an organizational tool, but I look at that as more systems.
right. And then I think too, one of the things your strengths is coming beside people and supporting them. That
Hmm.
we all know what to do, and most
Yeah.
of us know how to do it. And you can open up your phone and ask chat how to do it, but we don't do it. And I think sometimes
Hmm.
using AI now is, I don't know about you, but it adds more ideas in my head. And then I'm like not doing it because I've got more ideas of things to do. So, but you come beside with your Sunday basket, which I think you have one behind you, or a
Yeah.
Friday basket, or one of your baskets, which is a box
Yeah.
and folders. But what you offer is not just the physical thing, which we can
Hmm.
all go to an office supply store and buy, but you offer the support, the accountability, and the training behind it.
Yeah. There's
Explain
training,
that.
and then I do. So all the products that, because I'm a school teacher. So when I went from doing in-home organizing to the podcast to selling courses online, a lot of people back in the day, this is like 2018, were selling online courses where you would buy a course and you'd have like 90 days to complete it or something. And first of all, I was all stressed out about buying these courses because I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen in 90 days. I could get the flu. Who knows? My
Right.
time's not my own. I think it's my own. So I right then I said, okay, I'm going to create courses, but they're going to be lifetime. So if you buy something from Organize 365, you have a lifetime membership. And then I, as the teacher, I could keep adding and creating and adding more stuff to it as I learn and my learning grows. I don't have to be stuck with like one course that I'm selling forever. So I love that. But then also, as I was inside people's homes, I realized they don't have a good inbox on their kitchen counter. So I literally manufactured it. And yeah, you could buy a similar box or a basket at a store. But the thing that you can't buy is that I manufacture my slash pockets all in the same color. And I do the whole rainbow. And each color means something. So I'm setting up a system for you similar to how you were in school. Like maybe math was red and history was yellow and science was green. Everything had a color. So in our household, everything has a color. People are blue, you are pink, the household is purple. And so when you see that color, it starts to create structure to the work that you are doing. So there's a course, there's a physical product, and then inside of our app, which is a private app, we have a co-working time. So 90 minutes on Sundays, we all get together and we do our Sunday basket together for people who need that accountability and to work with people. Also, you can ask your questions. And then if you can't do it at that time, there's the replay, or you can go back and see other replays. And so you can feel like you're co-working even when it's asynchronous instead of
Well, and I
synchronous.
think that is so important, the co-working, the coming beside, the sharing
Hmm.
ideas. I think that's one reason that Weight Watchers is successful.
True.
One, you're tracking, and two, you're showing up and getting ideas. Why
Hmm.
Mary Kay's been successful. Mary Kay's
Hmm.
success meetings that she started when she started,
Hmm.
and you showed up. And we always said if you're having a bad day, you wanted to come and be filled up. And if you're having a good day, you want to come and encourage somebody else. And
Yeah.
you shared ideas. And
Hmm.
how are you doing this or how are you doing that? And so that's actually where I've taken Why Not Today now to, sounds like a similar format. It's an inner circle we
Mhm.
have that we, celebrate each other's wins. We talk
Yeah.
about what's hard. I supply some training every week with what's going on and how to support them. But I think we need that person that's, one, going to celebrate us,
Mhm.
and that accountability, and two, that comes beside us and, looks at it from a different angle. A podcast episode I did last month was I decided I wanted to paint my bedroom. And I am not, painting is just not my joy. And so literally the night before, I'm laying in bed going, do I really want to tear this room apart? And I just kept thinking, okay, on Sunday, how am I going to feel when it's done? And that's
Yes.
what got me through it. But what it caused me to do, because I did it with a friend and we painted her basement at the same time. And like and I've talked about this TV forever now in all these episodes, because I had a TV in my room. And as we're moving stuff around to get it out to paint, I said, I never watch TV in here, maybe watched it twice. She's like, why do you have it?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, never thought that thought. You're just supposed to have a TV there. Don't turn it. So I got rid of it. It's amazing
Yeah.
how open and free that is to just
Yeah.
not have the TV,
Right,
you
right.
know?
And when it's just there and it's always been there, you don't think about it. But when you have to move it, then you start to think about it. So whenever
Right.
you move something out of its space, you think about it differently.
Yeah. And that space thing. So if you're watching this podcast, you can see I have a shelf unit behind me. But a couple of years ago, I had a pink wall in my dining room because I had all my Mary Kay appointments there. Well, then COVID happened. I don't do live appointments, and pink is not my favorite color. So I painted that. And then I was telling a friend that I would make sure everything that, because I live in a condo by myself. So my office sometimes moved to my dining room. And I'm like, because my room's painted and it looks good, every night I make sure I take all my stuff and put it in my office. She's like, well, why don't you work in your office? Like during the winter, it is cold because it's all windows. But I said, and behind me is just junk. It was a catch-all. And she goes, well,
Yeah.
why don't you clean that up?
Change it. Yeah.
And it's
This is a
amazing how
good
free
friend.
it is. It's freeing to say, okay, let's get rid of this. So I think,
Yeah.
coming beside somebody, and I think that's probably where a lot of your superpower is, that you keep
Hmm.
learning and adding, um,
Yeah.
and helping people grow. So any
Yes.
other things you've learned to help support people and systems for whether it's your household or your office, or I know I've talked a lot about index cards. You want to give a little bit on your angle on index cards, which I have them all over my world now.
Yes. So I love index cards. Because back in the day, I would make to-do lists, to-do lists, and then you would lose your to-do list, so you'd make another to-do list.
I have all the pretty legal pads that I've
Oh,
bought with all
yes.
my lists on them, and then like, yeah.
The problem with me with the lists,
Or the other thing is they're in your phone or your computer, and then
yes,
out of sight, out of mind.
right. And this was before then. So I started this,
Right.
because I'm old. So,
No, you're not.
so I'm on the list. And the problem is, I never really have big pockets of time to do things. Whenever you go to the list, it's not like I have all day today. Let me go consult my list. When you go to consult your list, it's like I've got 15 minutes before I need to leave. Let me go look and see if there's anything I can check off my list. So immediately you're looking at the list
Right.
and you're scanning for things that take less than 15 minutes. So now you've got the juggle. Do you pick one thing that's going to take 15 minutes and check that off? Or can you find 3 to 5 things that are going to take 3 to 5 minutes and check all of those off so you have less things on your list, right? And this is
All
the
right. I have a
only
question for you,
filter I
Lisa.
had. Okay.
I'm going to ask you a question. I know the answer, but have you ever created a list and you had something on your list that or something you did that wasn't on your list? So you go back and write it on the list so
Of
you can check it
course.
off.
Of
Okay, good.
course.
You're my
Yes.
people.
Yes. This is what we do. So what
Yes.
happens on those lists is you keep rewriting over and over again the important things that you don't have time to do. So the index cards are really a bridge between lists and calendar blocking literally everything. Like getting ready in the morning is calendar blocked on my phone. Picking up sticks when I get home from work so that the yard guy is on my list for half an hour. It's on my calendar. I don't
I
have a
thought it
list because
was
it's on my
I
calendar.
thought it was for your grandson, but
Yes. Well, he will want to keep them, but we will do it together. The two of us will do it together. So I would have this list and I would keep writing things over and over and over again until you can't stand it anymore. And then I would just take a half a day and just do as many things on the list as I could. Okay, fine. That's one way to do it. Now I write things on index cards, one task per index card. And then every task is its own to-do list, basically. So I look at those index cards, and if the task can wait till Sunday, it must wait till Sunday. It goes in my Sunday basket. If it can't wait till Sunday basket, then index cards are about the size of your phone. So I just carry it around with my phone till I get it done. So that's my thing. I'm allowed to have any thought I want. My brain has a lot of thoughts all the time. I probably write down 20, 25 index cards a day. The majority of them just jump in the Sunday basket and the rest of them get done along the way. Now you're like, okay, but now you've got like 100 index cards in the Sunday basket on Sunday. Yes, I know. When you sit down and do your Sunday basket time, and this is what I was going to say before you ask that more salient question, is that the thing I would say that people should do is realize that organization takes time,
Yes.
more time than you think. However, when you become a purposeful, planned, organized person, all of that time, it multiplies and it makes you feel like a rock star. So at first, it makes you feel like you're underwater, but then you really start to pick up steam. So, yes, on Sunday, your Sunday basket is going to take a minimum of 90 minutes to 3 hours. You're like, oh my gosh, I don't want to spend that much time doing household administration. That's fine. Then do an hour a day. Oh, yeah, that's 7 hours a week. Okay, maybe we want to do 90 minutes to 3 hours on Sunday. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you don't get out of the work. This is a hashtag adulting. You don't get out of doing the work. You just get out of doing it in an organized way with your logical brain. So now you have all these index cards that could wait until Sunday. So a lot of them just get done, like make the appointment, make sure you pay this bill, do whatever. Like about half of them just get done. The rest of them go into slash pockets because they are ideas for the future. They're not even tasks to be done yet. They're just ideas for if I have a TV show one day, what am I like? I wrote down the title of a book the other day. I had this I was like, ooh, that'd be a great title of a book. It's not even something I would write a book on. Like I have my next 3 books in my head, and this isn't even one of them. But I was like, that title is too good not to capture that title. So that went on an index card, and that went in a slash pocket I have at work that's called Next Book. And I have 2 different great titles in there, and I'm not even working on those books. Otherwise, you lose that information, you lose that idea, you lose that task. And now, when I go to plan our trip for the beach, I've switched gears. I'm talking about our trip to the beach. We go every single year. I just realized that our AAA membership should give us 50% off of our Legoland tickets. And my grandson is 4, almost 5. He will
There you
love
go.
Legoland. Wrote that on an index card. Am I doing anything about that now? No, I am not.
Oh,
But it is in the slash pocket for the beach. I just made a reservation for our rental car. We need 2 now because our family's so big. That got printed out, put in the slash pocket for the beach. I don't need this for another 4 months, but that paper isn't floating around. I'm not worried about the email being tagged. It's literally printed out in that slash pocket. When I go to plan the beach, all of the things I've been thinking about for the beach are already there for me.
so freeing and just
Mm-hmm.
getting it all out of our head. And so,
Mm-hmm.
I tried, and I think you alluded that you did this too. I tried because I had all kind of color index cards. I started
Yes.
my index card a different color
Yes.
for every category of things in my world. And then quickly I forgot what colors and they were just a big
Yes.
old mess. Now pink remembered because that's Mary Kay. But now I still have the color because I have them, but they're not in any order.
Now, now what would be great though, and this is what I used to do. So we've not stopped supporting work, but we used to sell products for work and home. And now we're just doing home. But what I would say to you is because you already know pink is Mary Kay, I would have pink index cards and white index cards. And I would just have those 2 colors because then anytime you see an index card, you go, oh, that's work or that's home. And then I would start
Well,
a Friday work box.
I have another business,
Well,
which
then why not today is what color
why
is
not
that?
today is another color.
Blue? Yeah.
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 So, but that was
Okay,
just
so
getting,
but I separate work from home.
yeah.
So the Sunday basket is all the same color because it's all different things that you do at home. But then I do keep my organized 365 cards in a Friday work box at work.
And I think my life is one big organization because I'm
Yes.
single, I don't have kids,
Yes.
so I think it all just kind of folds into each other. But finding,
Yes.
and it's somebody I was talking to the other day, it's talking about the perfect system. It's the one you're going to use.
Exactly.
Because I know you said you started with index cards with different colors based on writing ink and then them all different places.
Yeah.
And I talked to somebody about this one day and we were talking about your index cards and she said that she teaches executive functioning and works with kids, ADD and ADHD, and teaches the same thing and takes one step further and punches holes in them and gets a binder clip.
Yeah.
Ring,
Yeah.
so
Where there's rings.
so they can throw it in their backpack.
Okay. Great.
Yeah. So just kind of expands. And I think one of the ideas you shared in the book or a podcast was about carrying all this stuff in our head, and the analogy of the kid in the
Mhm.
school. Will you share that story? Because I've shared it so many times.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So I did a webinar early in 2026, and then it did end up on the podcast where I was talking about our executive function and how our brain actually processes information. And I was talking about how we in our households, our environments, we don't have any systems. Like we don't have Sunday baskets. I mean, maybe you go get a calendar or a planner or use it, you don't use it. Um, we don't have a good bill paying system. We just don't have good systems. And the equivalent is like a student showing up to school, but they're not allowed to have a backpack and they're not allowed to have a locker. So they come into school and they're holding all their books and all their notebooks and their pencils and their lunch. And they have to carry that all day to every single class. There's no locker to put it in, and there's no backpack to carry it in. That is how we act with our executive function. We just shove every random to do in our brain. And a lot of people will use digital systems like writing it on their phone. And science will show if you write things down by hand, it actually goes deeper into your brain and you will remember it more than if you use a stylus on an iPad or you type it into your phone. But for me,
Thank
when I have a list on my phone, I forget I have a list on my phone. Like I
you.
forget there's a list there. Like I have to see it. So, by creating systems, backpacks, lockers, we give ourselves places where we can externalize what we have in our brain that we're trying to remember. But it's best that you only have one system and you put it in this one place, and then you need a regular time to go there. Like you go to your locker in between each class and before you go home. So you would go to your Sunday basket every week and you do your trimester planning 3 times a year so that you know that, okay, I have an idea or I have a thought and I'm going to put it here and it's going to be safe until I come check on it. Now, you can't miss it though. You can't not do the Sunday basket on Sunday. You can do it a different day of the week, but you can't not do it because then your brain is going to trust you and the system's not
Right.
going to work.
Well, it's interesting. I just went to the beach last week for a couple of days just by myself to get some work done and deep work. And it was amazing how many index cards I threw away because I'm like,
Yes.
did that, that's done, that's
Yes.
done. So I did a Sunday basket for 3 days.
Nice. Yeah, and sometimes you just have to have those admin weekends.
Yeah.
My husband's about to go out of town. I'm looking forward to. I have like projects every single night after work that I'm going to tackle deep work because I will not watch a stitch of TV while he's gone.
Yeah. Get those things done.
Yeah.
So, well, you've given me lots of hope and lots of action things. So I know your book's coming out officially in June of 2026. Is
Yep.
that correct?
June 23rd. Yep.
Okay. So, but if somebody's listening to this, because this podcast will come out before then, and they want to get their hands on it, and I so appreciate you sending it to me, and I already devoured it and read the whole thing right away. So, how can people get involved? I know you have a book club.
Yep. So the book Escaping Quicksand is available everywhere the books are sold. And then you go to escapingquicksand.com or organize365.com and just click on the banner and you'll go to the Escaping Quicksand page and just put in your receipt and that will let you into our book club. So I'm a teacher and I'm all about transformation and I don't want you to just read the book. I want you to get the transformation from the book. So we have a whole bunch of people in our book club already who've already pre-ordered the book. And we're dropping one audio chapter of the book per week from now until the end of May. And then the club will stay open until Labor Day. And I'm asking a question and sharing a video every Tuesday as a new chapter is dropped. And then we're having a conversation. So people are sharing their stories of how they found themselves in quicksand, what their family composition of their household is like. And then we're going through all 10 of the steps. And people are really reflecting on how has this step been in their life? How have they overcome this? What is the process that they're doing so we can really have a group book club? It's so fun. I think the book club is more fun than actually the book launch. Like when the book launches, it's going to be like, wah, wah, because the book club will be over.
I need to jump into the book club. Well, I think in what you just said is key. It's transformation. Like
Mhm.
I think where we are at the moment, there's so much information out there. You can
Yeah,
Google it, you can chat GPT it, you can ask a friend, you can read a book, you can watch a YouTube, a million ways to figure out, but are you doing it? And
right,
are you doing the task? You taking the action? And that's when the transformation comes. How
right.
many notebooks I have from courses and things, books I've read that I highlighted, but I don't go through and do the exercises because we don't
Yeah,
carve enough time. And so I
right.
think that's key is and transformation comes from doing it. So why not today?
Why not?
So yes. So thank you again. Any closing thoughts or ideas for people to help get their life more together?
No, just thank
And
you
of
so
course, I'll
much for
share everything.
this.
I was going to say, I'll share all how to contact you and everything in the show notes, but any last tip for anybody?
Yeah, I would just say, why not today? Why not become a proactive planned person today? Why not put a system in place today? Is it going to be perfect? Is it going to work perfectly? No, of course it's not. You're going to need to pivot and iterate and make it work for you. But having a system that you run your household on is so freeing because once you get it all tweaked to how you want it to be, it allows you to really think more expansively and to use your brain for what your brain was developed for, which is new ideas and dreaming and connecting and networking with other people and not necessarily remembering every single thing you're supposed to get at the grocery store.
Amen. Mic drop on that one. Well, thank you. So much insight. And I think when I think James is the one that connected us.
Hmm.
And I totally trust him with referrals. And whenever he sends me someone, I'm like, of course he'll be on my podcast. But so glad I met you. And I think we think alike and you're in my
Yeah.
brain. And I think you align so much with what Why Not Today is about. It's taking action, it's not just learning. And so for listeners, if you're listening, watching, you can see everything you want about Why Not Today under whynotdaymovement.com. As I said, I just started this new offer. It's called Why Not Today VIP Action Session, where I sit next to you if we're in person, but if it can be virtual and we just get stuff done. Or if you want
Yeah.
to dive deeper with the support in a community to support you, then I have the Why Not Today Inner Circle. And what I found is from pivoting from Mary Kay to my own business, which I'm sure you figured out with direct selling to your own, is there's so much you don't know that they give us
Right.
systems, they give us steps. And so many people that run businesses do not have that. And
Yeah.
so I've got 32 years behind me helping, supporting people with the business part. So, well, thank you again, Lisa. And thank you everybody for listening or watching. And remember to say why not today and subscribe, like, share this with a friend if this episode spoke to you. And thanks again. And why not today?